Welcome to So You Want to Win Giving Tuesday. 5 questions for your ultimate crowdfunding success, brought to you by CAUSEMATCH.com. My name is Benny Marilis, head of coaching at CAUSEMATCH, and we want to help you succeed with your crowdfunding campaign for Giving Tuesday, which is scheduled for December 1st, 2020, just a few weeks away. Still plenty of time to prepare appropriately and to really achieve great success on Giving Tuesday. So there are really 5 questions that we want to focus in on and really zoom in on so that we can really get to a wonderfully planned and executed campaign for that day. Question number 1, what's your story? So let's begin sort of at the beginning here. Every organization has a story. Every mission is a story to some degree, but it's really important for an organization to establish what the story is for the campaign. That might be different than the overall mission of the organization. It might be specific to a program that the organization is running, but what's the story? And specifically, let's delve into a couple of really key questions here. The first question is, what is the big why of the campaign? It's sort of the same way of answering the question of what's the story, but what's the big why of the campaign? Meaning, why am I doing this campaign? Why am I doing it right now? Why should somebody give to this campaign right now? All of those questions are really important, and they're really important that they be clarified and answered by all of the decision makers and stakeholders in the organization. What's the big why of this campaign? Not the what and not the how, but the big why. And in answering the big why, one comes to an answer of why it is ultimately that we're running the campaign right now and why it is that anyone specifically should be supporting it. So really important. And in so answering, when developing the story for the campaign, it's really key to be able to draw the line. Draw the line means, can I connect the problem and the solution and the call to action in as easily a manner as possible so that the person reading it immediately understands what it is that I'm talking about, immediately understands what problem I'm trying to solve, how I'm trying to solve it, and what exactly I'm being asked in participating in this campaign. How do I play a role here? How does my money, my donation play a role here in that solution? And the easiest way in connecting those dots, problem, solution, call to action, will create clarity in the mind of the donor and will ease their ability to jump in and support what it is that you're trying to do. That's always true, but it's also uniquely true in an environment like this. The third factor is an urgency factor. If there's no sense of urgency for the campaign right now, it's very hard to get people's attention. People are being pulled in all kinds of directions. They have a lot of things going on. There's a lot of organizations potentially that they may want to support. And if there's no sense of urgency, i.e. that I could give this donation in 6 months from now, not right now, so then I'm not running to support this organization, this mission, this storyline, in this campaign. So creating a sense of urgency and emergency, let's say, is really important. Now that may be true in the pandemic situation, that there are some urgent needs and some urgent requests that are out there, but it really has to come across in the story being told for the campaign. So that story has to be immediately understandable, really has to feel urgent, really has to be authentic. Really, people have to get emotionally driven by that storyline, feel like they're really accomplishing something by supporting this campaign, being the hero of that story. And then lastly, once those things are really clarified and the story is written, to make sure that any accompanying media, whether that's graphics or pictures or video for that campaign, really match that storyline, really enhance what that story is in writing. And so really key to sort of really focus in on it, look at those different versions of media and make sure that they do match the storyline and that they do add layers and details to that storyline. So question 1 is really very much about storyline. Question 2, in the 5 Qs for an amazing, unbelievable crowdfunding campaign success for Giving Tuesday 2020, what does your money map look like for this campaign? If you wanted to sort of start larger, you could ask the question of what does the money map look like for my organization in general, meaning where does my money stream from on a regular basis? Is it because I sell product and goods, or is it because I have matching grants, or I have corporate sponsorship, or I have just the great, great leaders and great donors who support us? So I really appreciate in general where my money map exists and that's a much larger conversation. But sort of as you funnel it down into a campaign, where's the money going to come from for this campaign? Who are the sources of support for what I'm trying to do in this Giving Tuesday campaign? And sort of look at these 6 groups here that are really important. The first one, of course, is always your biggest donors. What role will your biggest donors play in this campaign? Decide that in advance. You might decide that with them if they have a role or a voice in how you plan. You might decide that with your board members, as group number 2. But really think through your biggest donors. It may well be that you're not looking to your biggest donors right now for their support, and they just simply need to know that the campaign is happening without being asked, what I always call inform without asking. Alternatively, this may be the time that they give, and this is a great opportunity to go to them to get that kick, that first donation from them, but even perhaps to ask them for an increase this year because of what's going on around your organization. Group number 2 is your board members. What role are they playing here from an income standpoint for the campaign? Obviously their donation is key in terms of support, but also it engenders good feelings among other people who are paying attention to the campaign to see that board members are chipping in or supporting this campaign in a real way because it gets them to participate as well. They're very much influencers in the course of a campaign. So board members are group 2. Group 3 is partner opportunities. What other partnerships exist? It could be sort of corporate opportunities that you've been sitting on that might be out there. It could be matching opportunities, matching monies from some of your bigger donors to sort of really boost and give rocket fuel to your campaign. It might be partnering with another organization that does similar work to you in your area and really sort of blowing up a little bit how the scope of this campaign by working with them, partnering with them. Those are interesting ways to look at it, and they're all still possible right now. Number 4 is different. Number 4 is really about who's not available this year, because it is probably the case that 1 or 2 of your supporters simply can't give you right now. And it's important to sort of identify that in advance and mark that on your data set that X and Y and Z person are not available this year for a solicitation. They are available, however, for your empathy. And it's important to sort of reach out to them, say hello, see how they're doing. Let them know that you're doing the campaign, but also let them know that you can appreciate their situation and that you're not asking them right now. I think that goes a long way, showing that you're a human being, but also actually, strategically speaking, for the future of your organization, it's to benefit in it the next year. Group number 5 are potential newbies, people that are out there that you've met along the way during events, programs, meetings that you've done this year, and people who have not yet solicited. This is a great time to get them in for their first gift, even if it's sort of a smaller gift, but to sort of get them into your donor pool, have them participating in this campaign. Let them know about the campaign, let them know more about who you are perhaps first before letting them know about the campaign, and sort of really lay that out in a very smart and organized manner, from information to cultivation to solicitation, and really get them in to the campaign. And last, of course, is a really key group, is your peer group. If you're running a peer-to-peer as part of your crowdfunding campaign, really lay out and understand who's in that specific pool of people, how many people are in there, what their goals are for the campaign. Can you lift their goals by a percentage, 5%, 10%? Who are they reaching out to? Really understand the size and scope of the peer-to-peer pool that can really help you boost your success. Question number 3, communicate much. How are you communicating during the course of this campaign? What is going to be your key methods of outreach to your base during the course of the campaign? Let's jump right in. The first thing, of course, are the different media channels that you're going to be employing or not employing during the course of this campaign. Again, getting this out and done out front, really clarifying with everybody on board that we're doing this and we're not doing that, really helps everybody sort of focus and communicate appropriately. So if we're doing email, check. If we're doing WhatsApp messages, check. If we're doing Facebook, Instagram, if we're doing some new stuff, we're going on Twitch and doing something there as well. Whatever the case may be, let's know that far enough in advance, and then obviously prepare the materials that are appropriate for that channel. Really important, if it's email, to make sure that the emails that we're writing really hit, and the person reading that email, actually it resonates with them well and get them to click. Same thing with any WhatsApp messages, that we want to make sure that the language and the text that's used therein is appropriate, one, but also is a driver of a person towards a donate button. Same thing with any Facebook post as well. How are we communicating in the course of the campaign for solicitations? The second thing is also what other materials are we preparing that are campaign focused, although not with an ask necessarily in them. So if we're doing some online ads in advance to sort of build some sort of a digital marketing or even potentially retargeting campaign, make sure that those things are written and approved, designed and approved by the leadership team in advance. Additional content that one could use during the course of a campaign: press releases, interviews, videos, infographics, long form and short form stories that are being told by people connected to your organization, whether beneficiaries of your services or their alumni, or their faculty or their leaders, whatever the case may be. If we can prepare a really smart and organized communications plan leading into the campaign, we'll be far ahead. And really key to sort of also set that on a very good time frame so people are habituated to your content when it is that you're putting it out there. Number three, in terms of communication, who are the people who are communicating? Who's on the team for the campaign? Which staff members are participating? Which volunteers are participating? How are they volunteering? How are they participating? Where are they best used during the course of this campaign? Do they have the content that they need to succeed in the role that they're playing in the course of the campaign? Do they know who they're communicating with on the professional team to make sure that all those things are clear? And last one, of course, is communicating up and down the line with your peer-to-peer channels, making sure that all the people who are playing a role as peers in this campaign, as ambassadors and raising money, that they have, again, all the information they need for the sake of the campaign to succeed, whether that's the storyline for the campaign, whether that's templated materials, emails, WhatsApp messages, Facebook posts, that they can use and personalize in their communications, because the more personal their outreach, the more likely they are to succeed, the more likely it is that somebody who's receiving it on the other end is going to open it and read it and potentially donate. So really important that the communication lines in the campaign are as clear as possible up and down the chain, across the chains as well, and making sure that everybody has the content that they need in the format that they need to succeed. Question number 4, have you done a donor data checkup? When was the last time you dusted off that data set and really looked at it holistically and just specifically about everyone in that base to make sure that that they're being reached? Do a sample set and see how many of those people are actually opening emails or checking them, or there's a bounce back rate on them. You want to clean that up as far in advance of a campaign as possible. Let's jump right in. The first thing you want to think about is just an assessment of your donor data. Since all the money lives inside the donor data, and really you learn a ton about an organization when you dive deep into their donor data, it's important to sort of give an assessment to your organizational data set, for good and for bad. For the sake of the campaign, it's good to know. And also for the sake of, generally speaking, when board members ask questions, you can see, what, we're working on our data. We need to continue to improve our data to be at a better place with our customer, quote unquote, customer donor data. So assess your donor data, high, medium, low on the confidence level, 90%, 80%. You want to give it a letter grade, A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever you want to call it, but really assess what's in there and what you know and what you don't know. And then fix it. Go about in an organized manner. It's harder when it's close to a campaign, but maybe set this as a long-term goal, is to really up the scale and up the level of the quality of your donor data. 2 is, once you're sort of doing that, you can also organize data to be maximized and optimized for a campaign. You can use it better than you have in the past. One example, optimizing it for the method of asking. If you know your donors well and you know what they respond to, then you can target them with the right solicitation and the right communications during the course of the campaign. So if a person is a phone person, sending them a WhatsApp message is a waste of time. But if you put them on a segmented list of people to call, so then you've saved yourself some time, you've gotten them in the right context where they're going to be solicited and more likely to give a donation. If perhaps, let's say it's an older donor and they're not on a smartphone or they're not on Facebook or any of our email, they need a phone call, then make sure that you call them. Same thing on the reverse. It may be that some of your younger supporters really don't want to be bothered with a phone call. They don't like to speak on the phone. But if you WhatsApp them, they read 100% of their WhatsApp messages or their text messages, then that's the right way to solicit them for the campaign. So really optimizing that data, and that can be done in advance of the campaign. Number 3 is optimizing that data also for the right person making the ask to the right potential donor. Again, same idea. Think it through, work it through. This is all worth money to you because the wrong person making the ask or the wrong person in front of that donor either gets no donation or a much reduced size donation from that person. So if you can do that, organize the data set in a way where our larger donors are only being contacted by president of the board, chairman of the board, executive director, director of development, boom. And then the next set is, okay, any of our volunteers can really speak to these people because they're sort of lower hanging fruit and they're smaller donations. You can optimize that. Optimizing the data set for the right person ultimately helps you raise more money. So far we've covered storyline, income streams, communication, and data. And the last one, of course, is your goal both realistic yet still ambitious? We want to set a good goal for the campaign. Because we're the ones setting that goal in most cases, we can set a goal that is attainable and it's reachable. So we can set the target where we want it and ultimately reach it. But we have to sort of look at it and say, in a realistic manner and in an honest fashion, based on what we've just talked about, those first 4 questions, is the goal still attainable? Or is it too low? Or is it too high? Where is that goal for us? Based on our knowledge of our data, based on our methods and our abilities to communicate, based on our income streams, based on our storyline, is the goal attainable? And then along the line of asking that first question, we have another set of questions too. Informing us about how we set a goal can be how we've set goals in the past. We've done Giving Tuesday the last couple of years. Where did we fall the last couple of years in terms of our success rate? What was our number in that campaign last year, the year before? Realizing that this year is different, of course, but where was last year? And how does that help us understand this year? Maybe that's different now, which leads us to question 3. What were the factors that led to this goal being chosen? Maybe it is really urgent. Maybe you are in really a tight spot financially as an organization, and this goal is set based on a very clear set of needs. Maybe it's not. Maybe it was sort of just, shooting for the stars, and you just sort of picked a number randomly based on no data and no knowledge. Again, those things really help you to clarify what's real and what's not real. Too often, come across organizations that just want to raise, a 6-figure number. They've never ever done that before. And you ask them why, and they say, well, why not? And you tell them you don't want to fail. You really want to succeed. You also want to give people the confidence that you can succeed. So attainable yet ambitious, realistic yet ambitious is sort of the method that we employ based on good data and good knowledge, of course, to getting a goal. And ultimately, after reviewing all those things, are we confident in that goal? Are we confident that we can reach it? Are we confident that we have the passion and the belief to reach it? Are we confident in the foot soldiers, quote unquote, that we have available who are working on this campaign to reach that goal? Are we confident in our communications, in our storyline, in our income streams? And if we are, great. And if we're not, reassess, really think it through again. Take it down a notch. There's no reason to put yourselves in a position to fail. You want to put yourselves in a position to succeed and then engender and create momentum forward into 2021, which hopefully will be better than 2020. So really think all those different things through as you're establishing that goal. Realistic yet ambitious, our modes of communication, our donor data, our income streams, and our storyline. When we take these 5 things, these 5 questions into consideration as we plan out our campaign, these 5 questions will really help us direct and orient towards success, will help us plan and execute more effectively, more efficiently, and ultimately will help us to raise more money. That's what we're looking for at CAUSEMATCH. That's what we're focused in on. Our goal is simply to help you raise more so you can do more good. We also appreciate that right now and always that good works harder. To be able to succeed and to reach the levels that you want and to really do the things that you want to do with your organization, with your mission, with your passion, you're going to have to work harder. You're working hard already, but it's still going to be requiring more from you right now. Giving Tuesday is a great platform. It's a great umbrella opportunity to get a story out there and to help you and give you confidence to succeed and to raise the funds that you need, but still have to run an efficient and effectively planned and executed campaign. I wish you much luck on Giving Tuesday. Hope to see you again at CAUSEMATCH.